New month and new coffee. Welcome to 88 Grains, and I'm Alek, and today we are going to roast this new coffee of the month, which is H1 Natural. This variety is always tricky to me, so let's roast it together. Okay, we have our roaster ready to start off the roast. And we are roasting our usual 600 grams batch that I feel like is the most versatile on Bullet Roaster. On the settings, we are using power on 7, fan on 5, and drum on 9. And today we are going to use both power and fan, just to mix the things from last month. And drum is on 9, and we are not touching it at any time in our roasts. And just to remind you, we are roasting today Guatemala H1 Agua Tibia Natural, which is coffee that we had like 2 years ago, as far as I remember, in our roastery. And it's a beautiful coffee. It's very fruity and bright and jammy, and there's a lot of going on. And I really enjoy the H1 variety. But sometimes I struggle to roast it, especially if it's natural. I feel like it requires slightly longer approach, but we'll see what happens with our one. I was actually lucky enough to meet Eric on my trip to Guatemala. I think it was like 3 years ago. I remember that I met him on first or a second day of the trip, and we had a barbecue with some mangoes and pork ears, as far as I remember, or like pork fat, something like that, like a deep fried one. Super tasty. And as far as I remember about Eric, he also does the avocado. So he produces a part of coffee, tons of avocado, and he's kind of large, I guess, producer of avocado in Guatemala. And the Agua Tibia farm is actually located very close to the Guatemala city, a couple kilometers off the town. And it grows a lot of new varieties, and H1 is one of them. And it produces mostly naturals, as far as I remember. But this one is just unique, and I remember these coffees every year are very fruity, bright, very jammy as well. So there's a ton of things going on. There's tons of sweetness, and that's how I remember this coffee. It blew my mind when I had my first cupping on the origin, because we had it on a table, and I immediately booked a couple of bags. With the roast, we are still slowly going in. Nothing happens much. We are slowly rising the temperature. The rate of rise hit the highest point already, which is around 20 Celsius per minute. And what more about Agua Tibia? They are also growing different varieties, which is, for example, Pache, Bourbon, Mondo Novo, Geisha, Caturra, Catuai, and Typica variety. And on the Agua Tibia, they do all the processing themselves. And at 4 minutes and 47 seconds, we hit the yellowing phase. So it's the time when coffee is dry and yellow. It's very subjective when it's yellow, actually. So my approach is usually always mark yellow at 150 Celsius degrees. And soon we are going to start decreasing the power and increasing the fan. Yeah, so at 160 degrees on the bean temperature, we are decreasing the power to 6. So we don't want to burn the outside of our coffee with too much power when it's dry. So that's why I usually start to decrease the energy after we hit the yellow point. And that's what, in my opinion, is causing the flicks. The flicks are actually causing the burns on the outside of the beans. And then we have in a cup, we have the kind of roasty off flavor that doesn't match with the coffee. And at 170, we increase the fan to F6. And we are getting close to first crack. And at 180, you're going to do another change. And it's the fan setting up again. And at 185, we are doing one more change to P5 to slow down before the first crack that is about to happen, I guess. With naturals, it's sometimes hard to hear, but yeah, there we have it. So 8 minutes and 13 seconds. So we are kind of slow, but I guess it will be fine. As I mentioned, this coffee likes to be roasted slower. I remember last year that when we had this coffee and I did some tests of soaking and not soaking on a Probat machine. And actually, it turned out that soaking is not required and it actually makes the coffee worse. I feel like it was less developed, even if I had exactly the same color and all the parameters were exactly the same at the end of the day. Yeah, but the soak one was definitely very under roasted. Like it felt a bit off. And yeah, there we have it. This is our roast. We had a minute long development. which I think will work great. Yeah, let's move on to tasting. Coffee is roasted. Now it's time to brew it. It smells amazing, very sweet. Got some pulpy notes that's sort of cherry-like. Let's try it. Today we are going to brew an AeroPress. So we are going to need a paper filter. I'll pre-wet it straight away. And we are going to brew traditional method of AeroPress. And today we are using 14 grams of coffee. And 200 grams of water of like 93 degrees Celsius. We put all the water in just to make sure to wet all the grounds evenly. And then give it a stir. And seal the AeroPress. This will prevent leaking and it will allow the coffee to brew. It's always better to take it out of the scale. So we won't press on the scale, it can damage your equipment. And in 1 minute and 30 seconds, we are going to open it up and stir it one more time and put the plunger on and press it gently. Just put your arms on the AeroPress and it will do the job. Make it slow. It will prevent any unnecessary astringency that can occur when you press very hard, and it creates channels that we don't actually want and don't actually appreciate. There we have it. It's 1 minute and 30 seconds. We open it up. Give it a couple more stirs. And gently press it. Don't worry if it takes like a minute or a minute and a half. That's how it should be. The brew time is very short anyways, so don't worry. And there we have it. We can hear the hiss, so we can press it to the end or don't, depends on how you like it. Once it's very freshly brewed, it's good to evaluate the aroma. Reminds me of a caramel sweets, like toffee kind of flavor with aroma flavor. And there is some fruitiness. Reminds me of stone fruits. Let's taste it. Let me grab a cup. When it's hot, it presents more of those sweet flavors. As I mentioned, caramel. Maybe some honey notes, and there is like a hint of cherry in the background. This cherry is mostly I guess it's mostly coming from the natural processing. Some people may call it like coffee pulp. And when it's cooling down, I have less and less in my cup, so it cools down rapidly. It's getting more fruity and very like bright, even if it's like natural, but I usually don't find it too bright. This is a very good cup of coffee. Make sure you get yours, and cheers.